Welcome to another GB Studio tutorial. Today we're going to do inventory. So, what you want to do is make some items. I'm going to put them all in one sprite sheet. The maximum amount of sprites you can have in one scene is 25. So, the maximum amount of items you can show, unique items you can show, is 25. But if you have repeating items like 3 apples, that's fine. Also, go ahead and create a background for your inventory. You can even write the words like the title, like up here, inventory. And basically, I just created a couple of slots that are going to hold the items. Remember though, save this into backgrounds, not the sprites folder. Create a new scene and just go ahead and name it inventory. We're going to connect that to the main menu. I showed how to make a main menu in the previous video, so I won't go over that now. But in the main menu, over here you can see that each one of these options is assigned to a key. And for items, I should probably rename that to inventory, but for items, we assign that to the right key. And I didn't add it in here yet because we didn't have it at the time. So let's just go ahead and add that in here. So add event, if joypad input pressed, and we're going to select the right arrow. It's right here. And over here, we're going to change the scene. And we're going to add this scene on top of a stack. So we're going to search stack and store current on stack. And now you just switch the scene. And as you can guess it, we're switching to the inventory. Let's set the speed to the fastest one. And I think we're ready to check that out. Right? So we press enter to pull up, whoops, I meant shift. We press shift to pull up the menu. And I press to the right, and there I am, I'm in the inventory. Oh yeah, we forgot to hide the player, so let's go ahead and do that too. In the scene, just go ahead and search hide. And the only actor in the scene currently is the player, so that's fine. We're going to use an event to set the correct frame, but the event set frame only works with sprite sheets that are up to 4. So don't make your sprite sheet over 4 frames. Create an actor and put it into one of the inventory slots. After that, select the item sprite sheet. There it is. And as you can see here, it asks you for the initial frame. And if I change the frame, you can see that it's changing what item I'm on. I'm going to rename this to item, and I'm going to start making some variables. So if, and we're going to create an if statement for every single possible item that you can get. So we're going to do if variable compare with value. So the first thing that we want is, that's a health potion. So we're going to create a variable for the health potion. I'm going to go to the drop down and just pick whatever variable, doesn't matter, and call it
potion count.
And if potion count is greater than 0, it means we have a potion. So that's when we need to display a potion. So if we have a potion, we're going to set the animation frame to 0 because that's the animation frame for a health potion. And after that, we're going to subtract the count, because what the count is we're basically counting all the items. So every time we count one, we're going to subtract. So just go to search decrement by 1. That means that we accounted for 1 health potion. Okay, so now we're just going to do that for every other item. So the second item is a seed. Let's go ahead and do if compare with value. And here we're going to also create a new variable for the seed count. We got potion count, and now we're going to do seed count. And if it's greater than 0, just like the potion count, we're going to set the frame, set frame. Let me search frame. There we go. Set animation frame, and the animation frame for the seed is, you can see it up here, it's 1, and also in the right corner there's a tiny little thumbnail. So we're going to set it to 1, and then decrement from the count, and make sure this is set to seed count. So first we check the seed count, then we check the apple count, and then we check the scroll count. Make sure that each of these if statements are inside of the previous else statement. They should be a different color each time. So remember, none of this code will actually run unless we invoke it first. So every scene, it automatically runs its code, but actors do not. So inside of the scene, click on the title of the scene, and inside of there, we're going to need to call invoke. Invoke basically just makes the script run on whatever actor you want. And we're going to select item. Since we're going to have more than one item, we should probably rename this to item 1. And this way we can Control-C, Control-V, and we can create another item. And we'll call this one's item 1, so we need to call this one item 2. And if you go back to the scene, as you can imagine, we'll want to invoke item 2 as well. So every single one of these slots, you're going to have to invoke the code on it for it to know what to do. So I duplicated it a couple times and I'm invoking every single one. Now to show you that this works, I'm going to need to set the variables, so the amount of potions that you have, the amount of seeds that you have, etc. So let's just go to set variable to value. I'm going to put this at the very top because I need to set it before I check the amount. And let's set the potion count to something like 1, and then I'm just going to do that for every single one of the possible items. Now you wouldn't be doing this here, you would be doing it wherever you pick up items. So when you pick up a seed, that's when you would increase the count, whenever you, etc., you know? Oh, I almost made a huge mistake. So I forgot about this about GB Studio, but you need to update the references when you copy paste. So check it out, the first item is updating the frames for item 1, but so is item 2, 3, 4, 5. So what you need to do is, even though you're copy and pasting, since this is item 2, you need to make sure you switch all of these set animation frames to item 2, and do that for the other ones as well. Okay, so inside the inventory, I gave you 1 potion, 1 seed, 1 apple, 1 scroll, and let's see if that works. I just realized you can double click to full screen. Oh, I'm so sorry, I haven't been doing that for you guys. So I'm going to items, and look at that, it worked! So we got one of each item, but the last item is an apple. Why is that? Because we didn't account for if you don't have any of the items, or once we display all the items. So let's take care of that. So click on the item, and at the very end, the last else, this means that you've checked everything. Here we're going to hide. So, and we're going to hide that specific item. So if it doesn't display any of these, if this is false, then we go to this. If this is false, we go to this. If this is false, we go to this. And if this is false, then we're just gonna hide that actor because you don't have any more items in your inventory. Now, don't forget to go to every single one of the other ones and put hide into them and make sure that it's the correct item. Did you see that? You could actually see the code run. The apple disappeared. Yeah, it's working, and this is awesome. Let me just try a couple of different quantities and see if it looks correct. So here in my inventory, I'm just going to set apples to 0, and I'm going to set scrolls to 3, and I'm also going to set the potion count to 0 and the speed count to 0. So the only seed count. So the only thing we should see is 3 scrolls. And there it is, 3 scrolls. Isn't this awesome? So the next thing I should do is duplicate this item for all these slots right here and make sure that all the stuff is set up correctly, the set animation frame, etc. But I don't feel like doing it now. I showed you that it works because that would take a while. But there is one more very important thing we need to do. So in the scene, in the inventory scene, I was setting these values here just for testing. But you actually don't want to set the values here, like I said earlier. You want to set these values wherever you're actually getting the item. I'm just going to minimize this to clean it up. So you remember how whenever I counted, I decremented? So this will change the seed count, but we've got to make sure that after we display all these, the next time we open up this window, the number starts back at what it was originally. So what you'll want to do is create a whole nother variable that just holds on to what the value originally was. And how you'll do that is by adding an event called math. But we're not actually going to do any math, but in this you can not only subtract, multiply, divide, etc., but you can also set to. So for example, the potion count. The potion count, we're going to set this to a variable. And the variable we're going to set it to is a brand new variable, which is going to be called, as you guessed it, actually you probably wouldn't have guessed this, potion starting count. Now make sure you don't actually have this on the bottom. We need to do this before we invoke all these items. So go ahead and do this for every single item that you have. You can just do copy and paste. So I'm just gonna do paste. I think I have 4 items, right? Yeah, paste after. And then I'm gonna just change all these to the correct variables. Okay, so I created one for every single item. I created a variable for every item, and I'm just setting the count equal to the starting count. But now all of them are gonna be 0 because when you create a variable, the number that it starts at is 0. So I won't have any items now, and if I go to the inventory, what you'll see is that it should be completely blank. And yeah, it's completely empty because I haven't set those variables to anything yet. Okay, so now let's give the player something to pick up. I'm just going to create a new actor, and I'm going to make him pick up a seed. So I'm going to set that to seed, and I have a sprite for the seed as well. I made a separate sprite for this, and now we just need to increment the variable by 1. And this one is going to be the seed starting count. Make sure you're incrementing the starting count variable. Earlier in the video, I might have said something a little different, but you have to increment the starting count because that's the one that we're not actually decrementing from when we're displaying it in the inventory. So let's go ahead and try this out. Oh, whoops. One more thing. After you pick it up, I need to hide it. So I'm just gonna go ahead and hide the seed once you pick it up. All right, so here we are. Let's look in our inventory. It should be completely empty, and it is. There's nothing there. And now I'm gonna pick up the seed. Let's go, bada bing, bada boom, I got the seed. Let's check the inventory, and I have a seed in the inventory, it worked. I'm so glad that this worked. I was very, very nervous that it wasn't. That was a lot of logic. Thanks for sticking around. This is amazing. Inventory, share this with everybody. I did it for you. If you like pixel art, follow me on Twitter. There's a link to the project in the description.